Well, you have a lot of ideas, and I write every day, so you don't have time in your life to make all those movies. So some, instead of just sort of lying in the computer, I collaborated with Susan Lehman here, and we created this book, which is basically an idea I had for a movie, and we expanded it into a novel. Yes?
Yes.
When you write a screenplay, you're basically writing dialogue and plot, you know, because you know the actors are going to bring to the part the way they look, their emotional lives, but you have to describe that all in a book. You know, describing places or something you never think about in a screenplay, because you know you're going to go to the location and photograph it. But you need someone to do those descriptions and give it an emotional life, and here she is.
I mean, Brian obviously has a visual imagination and thinks in terms of set pieces. And so the basic architecture of this story Brian had, and then we filled it in together. It was really, really fun, and part of the fun, people talk often about the loneliness of writing, but if you're collaborating, it's a different thing. I mean, we would write to amuse each other, and we did. And hopefully our readers too.
Well, Vertigo is a French novel. So the idea that they're making Vertigo in France, in French, is not so unusual, and it's, to me, it's a kind of a joke. The fact that here we are back at Vertigo once again, and somebody's going to go off the tower.
Spoiler.
It's a technique that you use in order to extend time, and especially when you're trying to orient the audience to very specific places where certain interactions are going to happen. You want to slow everything down.
But it's funny to me that you read that, because I wrote that, and that's sort of an act of my translating what Brian, he says, of course. I mean, that's what he does when he's making a movie. He doesn't think about it, you know, as that's what he's doing. But so I was sort of translating the maestro's brain.
It's completely different than it was when I first went to Hollywood at the beginning of the 70s. So it was kind of unrecognizable to me in a sense, because I really didn't go back and work in Hollywood. I really came to France in 2000 and worked on Femme Fatale. But, you know, they're making, you know, toys and children's films and Marvel, the Marvel universe. I mean, why would a man of my age be interested in the Marvel universe, which is something that a lot of people go to see. So as usual, the studios have to make these things in order to keep the money coming into the bank. But this, you know, I was never interested in comic book characters, and that takes up a lot of oxygen in Hollywood.